Hi guys, so I want to speak to you guys about astrology. People like to see what signs they belong to and read about, the expectations of that sign. Like, this person is very honest, this person is very diligent, and I think people want to look for something that helps them find guidance throughout their life. They want to find something that can help them see where they need to be, how they should act, how they should behave, what qualities they may have that they may not have realized. So I see astrology as people looking for guidance, for a way. And also, if you notice, when you meet people, they ask you what your sign is. Usually they're trying to find out if you're compatible with them or if you're the same sign as them, so that there's some sense of community, some sense of belonging. So I think people like to feel like they belong somewhere, with a group of people that are like them and that they can feel comfortable around. So astrology helps to fulfill two of those things: guidance for your life and a sense of belonging. Okay, so those are not bad things. When God created Adam, he didn't want Adam to be alone. He wanted him to be with someone. So he created Eve, and Adam and Eve are able to, have children so they can make families. So family is a good thing. A sense of belonging is a good thing. And I think that's why some people join clubs, societies, and gangs and associations, because they want to be around with people that they can feel accepted in. So belonging is not a bad thing. And guidance is absolutely a good thing. Nobody wants to just go through life, directionless. They want to have purpose. They want to have a sense of significance in what they're doing and where they're going. They don't want to waste their time. So that's also not a bad thing. Now, the problem with astrology is that if you believe in God, if you understand that God loves you and that he created you in his own image, and also that you're unique, then you should know that you cannot be classified based on when you were born. Like, for example, twins are born pretty much at the same time, but you probably know twins that are very different from each other. So how does astrology explain things like that? I think the only way that they can attempt to is they'll say, oh, but it also probably depends on the minute you were born. Like, they'll try to find more things to consider, when it's obviously pointing to the fact that we're all very unique. We have some similarities with each other. Of course, you'll find people that have a similar personality to you, but they're not identical to you. They're still a unique, different, distinct person. So, astrology, it tries to say that you're a certain way based on just when you were born, but I think you can see for yourself that people are very different, and sometimes people surprise us. They're not what we thought, or they're not doing what we expected them to, or we anticipated. Surprise, people are different. God says not to look to divinations and astrology, which is basically looking for something in the universe, like star arrangement or something like that, for meaning. Those things are there. God created the stars so that we'll know the times and the seasons. It's going to be summer, it's going to be winter. Those are what the stars are for, is to help us keep track of time and the seasons, not for us to base our lives on them. So for someone that says that they believe the Bible, they love God, they love Jesus, and for them to hold that in one hand, and then in the other hand for them to follow astrology, is contradicting, because God says to stay away from that, yet people still want to hold on to it. And I think it's because people want something that they have control over, something that they can just easily pick up something to read about, like, this is your sign and this is what you're supposed to do today. Kind of like being given an assignment. You know what you're supposed to do, and you know what you're expected to do. So I think people want that. They want a quick answer. They want a convenient answer to tell them how they should be and what they should be doing. Versus spending time praying and reading the Bible and getting to know God. That takes more time. That is not always convenient. I haven't read the Bible very consistently for a while because I've been very distracted. I didn't make it my priority, which is my fault. But I know that taking time to know God is going to show you a lot more about yourself and other people than looking up at the sky, looking at the symbols and signs that match something based on when you were born, and just go by a list that I don't even know who wrote Astrology. To be honest, I should look that up to see where did these traits and explanations come from. Because that's basically what you're doing. You're either following what people have said about different signs based on when you're born, or you're going to follow what God has said and have told people throughout history that they've written down in the Bible. So those are your two main voices between astrology and God. God's going to say, read my word and spend time getting to know me. Astrology is going to say, look at these things that we've written down for you. So it's either God's voice or people's voice that you're going to be listening to. That's what it boils down to at the end of the day, comparing if you want to follow astrology or if you want to follow God, because you can't do both. God won't take both. God says, don't do that. Are you going to obey him or disobey him? If you love God, you would obey him and stay away from astrology. It's a very popular thing. It's very common. You see it in almost every store you go to. You'll find something with astrology. It's very common. It's very popular. And I'm just trying to show that it has given people a sense of direction and purpose because they've been listening to people's voices. But I think if they consider God instead, if they spend time getting to know God and what God says about them, God created us. He would know us better than other people would know us. Someone could spend their whole life with me and study me, and they may not get to know me very well. They're going to get to know me on a superficial level for, whatever I say, whatever I share, but they won't know me as intimately as God, because God created me from day one, and he's been with me the whole time. He knows my dreams. He knows my passions. He knows my desires. He knows my limits. He knows, the gifts he's given me. So between God and people's voices, I think it makes more sense to believe what God has to say. Alright, that's it, guys.